Okay, welcome back to the second video in our lesson here on graphing quadratic equations in vertex form in Module 3. So you recall that we have, in the previous video, we used this vertex form here to help us identify the vertex of our given quadratic. Okay, the h value here is the x-coordinate of the vertex. The k value turns out to be the y-coordinate of the vertex. This a value here, that determines the vertical stretch or shrink. It also determines whether we have our graph opening upwards when a is greater than 0, and whether we have our graph opening downwards when a is less than 0. Okay? So, we read these three quadratic equations here, and we pulled out the h and k from those graphs. Okay, so here now we're going to work backwards, and we have the vertices, right, the h and the k value here, and we're going to use those to then write the equation, or write a quadratic equation whose graph has these vertices. And you'll notice it's not the quadratic equation, it's a quadratic equation, and I'll explain why that's important here in a second. So recall, right, that the vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So our h here is 1.9, which means that we'll have y equals a x minus 1.9 instead of the h, and then plus k, so plus -4, because that's our k. And voila, there's the equation for our quadratic. Okay, now here's the catch though, right? That a value, we have no idea what a is. So what do we do? Right? Well, you can put whatever number you want in there for a for now. So you could do a 1, you could do a 2, you could do a 3, so on and so forth. But the results will all be the same for the vertex. What does this number in front do? Again, it stretches it or shrinks the graph. Okay, so it'll make it maybe like, makes the graph like really narrow like this, or makes it really wide like this, okay, depending. But that's for another lesson. Okay? Here's our second vertex. So why don't you go ahead and try this one on your own. Identify the h, identify the k, and then put it into the equation there. Okay, so the h is 0, and the k is 100. So we x minus 0 squared plus 100, just like that, which simplifies somewhat. X minus 0 is just going to be x. And again, you can put the a in front, you can put whatever number you want in front right here. Okay, you can kind of pick whatever you want there, but I'm just going to leave it as x squared for right now. Okay? Last but not least, this one. So again, try letter C on your own. Pause the video, give it a shot, if you didn't for letter B. Okay, so h is -2, k is 3/2. So y equals a times x minus -2 squared plus 3/2. Now, subtracting a negative is the same thing, remember, as adding the opposite. So we can rewrite this as y equals a times x plus 2 squared plus 3/2. And voila, there's our answer. Okay? We'll pause the video here, and the next we'll get into the exploratory challenge.